the Derya Arms Melik or Melik, whatever it is. It's a Breda 92 FS clone, and as you guys saw in the tabletop, I was pretty impressed. Coming up, you'll see my absolute first shots through the gun. We'll do full magazine +1. Take it over to our trademark What's for Dinner table to see what the gun will eat. The spinner for sights and trigger control, some practical accuracy, and concluding thoughts. All coming up next on GBGuns. These platforms are always fun for me because, well, I didn't like the M9 when I was in the Army, but I came to learn that was those guns in Army training, not necessarily the 92 platform. How will this do? My first 10 shots using some Bellum 124 grain. If you're curious about the energy of Bellum and how is it NATO or not, check out the article I did over on GBGuns Depot. You guys know, I'm not allowed to say on YouTube anymore. First shot in double action. Let's see how we do. Not bad. Man, that single action is... You've got really light take up to a wall that kind of rolls into its break. Not really a rolling break, but it's not snapping, I guess is the way to say it. But it's just gentle and comfy. Let's do another double single, see how that goes. I'm gonna do that again. That's really comfortable to shoot. Very easy to shoot. I'm having to use these funky iPro because just a minute ago it was raining. It's kind of gray skies here. The camera's adjusting, so you guys really don't have a concept of it. But it's too dark for my regular dark lenses. I couldn't find my good clears. This front sight post is not as attention grabbing as I would like, but man, the gun shoots nice. Now let's load it up, full mag +1, and see how it runs that way. The included 17 round mag loaded with reasonable resistance. The 16th and 17th were a little bit tougher, but not hard to get in. Whew, that added some weight to the gun. And now we've got 18 rounds of 124 grain. I'm gonna try for a little more speed, so I might lose a little bit of accuracy, but this is a nice shooter. Let's see how the gun runs fully stuffed. No issues. I did trip a little bit there on the stroke of the trigger, just learning where the reset is, but that ran smooth, very comfortable. I am, however, being reminded of some differences, and when you go with the DA-SA gun that requires, ooh, that's a hot barrel, requires a curved trigger guard like this, is it's pushing my support hand a little bit lower than I'm accustomed to on so many other either single action only or striker fire guns where they don't need the curved trigger guard. And you guys missed it in the tabletop. The reason why it has to be curved is if you watch the trigger when I decock, that's the double action pull length, and so you need room for this arc of trigger movement. So although this is seen as a dated design and not cool, still hot, not cool per se, it has to be there, and that means it's changing the grip a little bit. Next, we'll take it over to What's for Dinner and see what the gun will eat. Thanks to our Ammo Squared and Patreon supporters, it's What's for Dinner time. Time to see what the gun will eat. As I roll past these, you'll notice that we've got 50 grain through 165 grain today, all of which have their ogive in different locations. We've got different overall lengths. We've got different case materials, case coatings, projectile types, etc. The objective here is to see, will the gun eat it? Will it feed from slide lock? Will it pick up another round of the same type and cycle it? And will it lock open on empty? The third round reduces variables. However, this doesn't tell you if the magazines will run it. If you guys want to try any of this yourself, check the pinned comment over at our website, which YouTube won't let me mention anymore. You can find links to this so you can try it yourself. We are 7 yards back from a series of 2-inch circles. These are not super fine aiming points, so don't expect the tightest groups ever. This is to give us a general idea of how and where this loads print. Got 2 magazines. I'm using the 17 rounder that came with it, as well as a 15 round Breda 92 magazine that I had. If we've got an issue with the non-included magazine, I'll swap over to the included magazine just to see. Should be the same thing. There shouldn't be any issues. First load is our lightest load, the 50 grain Civil Defense plus P from Liberty ammunition. Now, it should be known that Plus P ammunition is to compensate for a barrel under 4 inches for 9mm. This is a 4.9 inch barrel. There's no need for Plus P ammo. The manual did not say anything for or against Plus P ammunition other than the fact that the gun had been tested with high pressure rounds. So I would not recommend it, but it's the lightest load we have, so I'd like to try it in here. I'm going to do all of this with a double action first shot. Thunderous. No issues though, very light recoil. Circle 2 is the Norma range training frangible 65 grain. Very soft shooting and grouped fairly decently. Some of you regular viewers may have noticed that that Norma 65 grain usually doesn't perform too well for us. So nice to see that with a 4.9 inch barrel, it finally got some stability on the way out. Next is the Winchester Super Clean 90 grain. This is a zinc core lead-free round, great for indoor round ranges or folks that want to shoot a lot and maintain their health. Circle 3. Slightly more recoil, but very manageable, and stacked 2 of them. Smells a little bit like cinnamon as well. So if you shoot at indoor range, you're trying to avoid the lead and you want things to smell nice, try that Winchester Super Clean. Now we have Spear Gold Dot 115 grain. These have zinc plated cases. Circle 4. A little more recoil, but not too bad. And it runs. The trigger on this is impressive. I could do without the little bit of slack on the single action, considering this gun is meant to be carried, well, it has to be decocked. In order to go into safety, you have to decock. And the only way, so you can't go into safe in single action. You run the decocker and you leave it there, you're in safe. You can run it back up and have a double action first shot, which is how I would carry or use this thing. But you have to have a double action first shot, basically. There's no way to single action it. So with that regard, the single action could be lighter and shorter so long as you've got a shooter that is trained and understands that. But otherwise, liking this thing. Blazer aluminum 115 grain for Circle 5. We use aluminum and steel case when we can get it, for the same reason you guys do. It's less expensive. However, you've got greater friction of the rounds stacked in the magazine, greater friction going into and out of the chamber, and the expansion and contraction rate of the case is different than brass. So some guns choke on it. Nice shooting gun. Circle 6 is the PMC Suffix, SFX. I believe it's the replacement of the Starfire, but I did have a ponderance this morning while I was pulling that out. You English majors out there, if it's called suffix without anything before it, no root word or core word, can it be a suffix? Can a suffix exist without something in front of it? Some nerdy thoughts. 124 grain SFX, Circle 6. Good shooting gun. That third shot was my fault. Federal Premium Law Enforcement HST 124 grains, tactical HSTs. These are the ones that have the sealed primers. I'm going to try to not milk that double action so much. Let's try more of a pull through. And did better. Very, very manageable recoil. Those HSTs can be spicy in some guns, but big old all metal gun with a 4.9 inch barrel, it was easy. SIG Elite Defense 147 grain. These are V crowns for Circle 8. Go pull through on that trigger again. I almost staged it. Bad habit. Excellent group, very soft shooting. Now something a little more affordable, the PPU Defense Line 147 grain jacketed hollow point out of Serbia. Very comfortable to shoot. Nice group. And our last load, our heaviest load, is the Stolf from Ammo Incorporated. Important to note, it's not Stealth, that has an A in it. This is Stolf 165 grain. Stuff's usually very comfortable to shoot. Man, that was too easy. I am liking this gun. What'll be fun with this trigger and this long barrel is the spinner coming up next. Man, I'm sure Chattanooga Great Outdoors regrets sending us this so many years ago. This is our 6-inch spinning target. We're about 12, 13 yards away. Use this target for sights and trigger control because it's a small target at distance. As I hit it, it starts to move. The harder you hit it, better you hit it, the faster it moves. The more important timing a well-placed shot becomes if you want it to spin it over the top, because you can only hit it on the way away from you, otherwise you hit momentum. My joke about them regretting sending it is because this product is no longer offered, but I love it. Got 8 rounds of that Bellum 124. First shot was double action. That was too easy. Man, this is an enjoyable gun. You know, and it doesn't even fit my hand that great, but it's still just enjoyable to shoot. The second shot, my miss, that was because the single action snuck up on me. I wasn't ready for it. The wall wasn't, I hadn't learned the trigger enough to know when that wall was there. And so, yeah, I let off that second shot before I intended to. But other than that, it's such a comfortable shooter. The way the trigger breaks and the recoil happens doesn't let you get into the bad habit of healing or anticipating the recoil, because it's such a soft break and the little bit of extra travel that's in there, you can't really mash it. And that's the big challenge on the spinner, is you get excited and so you start hitting the trigger a little bit harder, you start punching it a little bit. On guns with a very tight trigger, that can cause you to throw your shot. And not the case with this thing. Man, this is fun. All right, next up is practical accuracy. Practical accuracy is 5 shots from 7 yards, freestanding at a 1-inch square. I'll be shooting at that left circle square, and I recommend you guys to try a target like this. It's very easy to get a 1-inch square sticker or to draw a 1-inch square. This, at that distance, tends to be the same width as a front sight post on most guns, so it gives you a very fine aiming point and lets you really see how things go. Using that Bellum 124, and I'm going to do a double action first shot. It's having some vision struggles there, but it still turned out pretty good. As I pointed out in the tabletop, there are some reasons why this is probably not going to be, this is unlikely to be a carry gun for a lot of folks. The size, the heft, the unadjustable front sight, as in you can't put a night sight on there, that kind of thing. But aside from that, wow, what an enjoyable gun to shoot. It's been a while since I've had guns that shocked me because I didn't expect much out of them and they turned out to be pretty good. But it's been a while since I can recall enjoying shooting something as much as I had fun with the Melik today. This is a comfy shooter, and despite some slightly off ergonomics, which are of course a personal fit thing, for me, the trigger guard, which of course there's nothing they can do about, and something about the way it hits the heel of my palm feels a little off, but it's a comfortable shooter. Like that misfit of the hand for me, which would be discomfort, and then in most guns the recoil would drive it home, and then you'd end up with those spots that didn't feel good starting to ache. This is just a fun, nice, soft shooter. Very comfortable to shoot. Ran everything we wanted to put through it. As I said in the DY9 video, I don't know if these are priced so low. I don't know why these are priced so low, let's put it that way. But what we have seen in the past, and keep in mind I've been doing this for 9 years and approaching 500 pistols, but about 700 guns reviewed overall. Oftentimes when there's a new brand or a new name on the market, they have to come in at a low price point to pull people away from buying something higher and to make you willing to take the risk. The Melik is definitely worth buying an unknown brand. I don't know enough to tell you if it's 100% parts interchange with the Brenner 92 parts. I don't know if you could send this off to Langdon Tactical or one of those shops to have stuff done to it. I don't know if you'd want to or need to. As a budget priced gun, it's a solid gun. As just a gun to take out to the range and have fun with, excellent. And it's a matter of personal opinion, but I find the two-tone with these dark wood grips, they said Turkish wood on Rock Island site. I'm sure that, I don't know if they meant to say Turkish walnut, but who really cares? It's Turkish and it's wood and it's handsome. It's a good looking, fun to shoot gun that is super affordable, very comfortable and easy to shoot. I think this might be something that I will put into my bank of guns that I bring out with newer or less experienced shooters, because it's not jarring. It's not going to cause someone to fear shooting like some smaller guns that require a little more attention, a little more control and skill would do. The decocker, of course, is something that makes a lot of people feel safe. The hammer makes it very obvious if the gun is ready to fire or not. Yeah, it's a well done, nice pistol. I wonder if this is what a new Brenner 92 feels like. I don't know. I've never had one. Only very, very heavily abused Army M9s. But I can say I've also shot other clones of the 92 that were not as nice as this. So take that if you're looking at 92 clones, especially in the budget orientation. That's something to consider. I did just notice if it's showing or not, the roll pin in the back of the decocker lever is looking mighty proud. I would have to go back and take a look at my tabletop video to see if it's always been like that or if it's working out. If it's working itself out, that of course is cause for concern or an issue. But man, from this first range shooting, it's been spectacular. Very comfortable, very enjoyable. I'll give that pin a tap before I write the article and let you guys know in the article if that pin is loose or not. Other than that, which is a little unsettling, cool piece. And then the finish, as I mentioned, the tabletop is melanite, not Cerakote. Big fan of that. Melanite is an actual surface treatment, not a surface covering. Melaniting enters the pores of the metal and cannot be removed unless metal is removed. So you don't have to worry about finish wear like you would on Cerakote. Also, Cerakote tends to gum up actions a little bit, whereas melanite is a little more neutral, which is probably why we have a little bit of a looser fit here. This gun, as it's cut and designed, probably could be Cerakoted and still run fine, but overall fun time. It's just a fun gun at a good value. I don't know about longevity. That pin walk could be 1 in a million, could be a systemic problem. Who knows? We won't know till time tells, but if you're in the market for something affordable and enjoyable in the range, something you can take significant others or young ones out to have them shoot 9mm and get used to a real gun without fearing it, I'd strongly consider or strongly recommend considering the Melik. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.